She cleared the prelims. She cleared the mains. She stood first in her class. But the only question was asked during her viva was, if we appoint you as a judge, what will your husband think? Hi everyone, I'm Jerry and today we are going to talk about something that is already said out loud. The silent barrier that continues to block the path of women aspiring to enter the Indian judiciary. This isn't just about statistics, it's about shattered dreams, gendered expectations, and a system that sometimes tests your patience more than your knowledge. But it's also about how we break these barriers step by step. Let's start with a question. Why are we talking about this in 2025? Because as per the data from the National Judicial Data Grid, only around 13% of judges in high courts are women. In the Supreme Court, we only just hit 3 sitting women judges, a historic high, but also a painful reminder of how far we have to go. You think merit alone would be enough. But for thousands of women preparing for the judiciary, the problem isn't just the exam, it's the judgments they face before ever reaching the bench. Let me share a story I came across recently. Ritika was asked during her interview whether she could handle night sittings if she had children. No male candidate was asked a similar question. Another aspirant, Aarti, cleared all stages but was subtly warned by her coaching mentor to look less intimidating if she wanted to be selected. It's not unfair, it's illegal. In fact, the Vishaga versus State of Rajasthan in 1997 judgment laid down preventive measures for sexual harassment at the workplace, which include interview panels. But where's the accountability when panels themselves reinforce stereotypes? Here's the thing. When you prepare for the judiciary, you have already carrying the weight of law books, case laws, barracks. But women, they are often also carrying the invisible weight of social conditioning, familial resistance, and the crushing pressure to be likable, not assertive. This pressure can be subtle, a relative asking, but would marry a woman who becomes a judge? Or overt, a fiancé breaking off the engagement because he can't handle her ambition? Let me tell you something personal here. A client once confessed with tears in her eyes that her dreams wasn't law. Her dreams was justice. But the system made her feel like an outsider for even trying. But what can you do? Practical steps for aspirants. Let's shift from pain to power. If you or someone you know is a female judiciary aspirant, here's a practical toolkit to navigate this journey. First, document everything. If you face discriminatory or inappropriate questions during interviews, write it down. If needed, file an RTA. Transparency is your ally. 2. Know your rights. Read up on judgments like Indira Jaising vs Supreme Court of India in 2003 and Charu Khurana vs Union of India in 2015. These are powerful reminders that institutional bias can be challenged. 3. Join a support network. Whether it's local study circle, a women's legal collective, or even a telegram group, don't do this alone. Shared experiences is equal to shared strength. 4. Focus on emotional resilience. This journey is not just legal, it's personal. Practice mindfulness, take breaks, and don't equate failure with worthlessness. 5. Speak up, but strategically. You don't need to wage war against the system from day one, but learn to challenge respectfully and use the tools of law to protect yourself and others. Let's be honest, the judiciary itself lacks a formal, transparent diversity policy. While the executive talks about representation, we rarely hear such discussions in judicial appointments. Compare this with countries like Canada or South Africa, where judicial appointments commissions actively track gender parity. Here in India, too many appointments are still guided by good families and safe candidates. Euphemisms that subtly push out women with strong voices and independent thought. Why should you still fight? Yes, the system is slow, sometimes painfully so. But remember this, the judiciary needs women not as tokens but as decision makers, role models, and transformers. Think of Justice Leela Seth, the first woman Chief Justice of a High Court, or Justice Indu Malhotra, who bravely dissented in the Sabrimala verdict, saying courts shouldn't interfere in essential religious practices, a view that sparked nationwide debate. Or Justice B.V. Nagaratna, likely to be India's first woman Chief Justice. Her very presence sent a signal to young girls, you belong here. What kind of system do we want to build? Here's a thought I want you to leave you with. Every time a qualified woman walks away from a judicial dream due to discrimination or harassment, justice itself becomes poorer. So don't just chase success, chase significance. If you're watching this and you're a female aspirant, know this. You're not alone and you are not wrong for dreaming big. And if you're someone who's part of the system, coaching, mentoring, interviews, remember the question isn't can she handle the judiciary? It's can the judiciary handle losing her? If this video struck a chord, don't let it end here. Comment below if you've seen or experienced bias in legal education or interviews. Let's make this invisible problem visible. Share this with someone who's preparing for judiciary, male or female, who needs to hear this. And if you're serious about change, subscribe. Because here we don't just study the law, we challenge it to do better. Take care. Bye.